Hey guys, may the 4th be with you. Today's May 4th. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're continuing with our Mental Health Awareness Month series. Thank you guys for joining. Today, my special guest is a wonderful friend of mine. She's a beautiful community organizer. She's an entrepreneur. She's the founder of Unplug Meditation, and lots of other cool things. So I'm looking forward to talking with her. It's Suze Yalof Schwartz, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if I can bring her on. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming to join us. Hey, Ansley. Hey, Kelly.
Hi,
hey,
Ben.
Susie, how are you? I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so happy to see you. This is so cool.
I know. I'm so happy to see you. I love your citrus trees there in the background.
You like that? We know that orange is the essential oil of happiness.
Very nice.
I like it. So you could just
I do love I love orange essential oil, actually. I do love that one. Yeah.
Me too. Did you see we launched the Unplug shop today? Did you see
Yes.
that video?
Yeah, I did see that.
It was fun.
So, Susie, you are such a bright light. You're so out there in the world. You're active. You're always thinking of new ways to help people and to provide new tools and everything. And what I like about you, I see you almost like a scientist. Like you're experimenting with different things and you're trying things out in your own life. It's like you have like a lab that you test things out on before you bring them out. So I want to like just hear about what you're doing and what Mental Health Awareness Month is like for you.
Thanks, Ben. Well, I love you too. And by the way, I just want to say one thing. Your book, Meditation for Beginners, Practical Meditation for Beginners, we're sold out. We need more copies.
We got to get you
copies.
That makes me so happy. We got to get those in.
I just want to start with that because we're like, we've got Ben's book, but then we're like, wait, we don't have Ben's book. Okay. So what do? I am launching many different things. And you're right. I love anything new. I like trying new things. I am not someone who likes the norm, which is why I launched Unplug Meditation, the world's first drop-in meditation studio. And for those of you who don't know, Ben is on the Unplug Meditation app, and my mother sleeps with him every single night. Just saying.
Hey, I saw that one of my meditations was the featured meditation of the day today also.
Today you are. And I actually did that meditation. It was very good. I was like, I woke up happy because I actually woke up with you. And now I'm ending the day with you. So that's so cool. So anyway, so the Unplug app, Ben has the best meditations on there. So if you ever want to go to sleep or do any of his unbelievable Latin-based meditations, you have to try those. There's one that he did called Fresh Start. Wait, what was it? What is the Latin word for that?
Clean slate, tabula rasa.
Tabula rasa.
Yes.
That's like definitely a favorite on the app for me.
Yeah, I love that one too.
And also,
Susie,
Ben,
I want to talk about
Ben,
you.
You're also live on Unplug Live, so people can meditate with you.
Yeah.
Live on Unplug.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You created the drop-in studio, which has 2 locations in Los Angeles, but now we're doing a full schedule of meditation and breathwork and sound healing classes available live.
Yes.
Which I think is really, really cool because we've got people in like Oklahoma and the UK and Thailand all meditating together.
Yep. And not only that, but our teachers are traveling and now we don't have to cancel their Los Angeles anymore. You're traveling and now we can share you with everyone all over the US and beyond. So that's been pretty amazing. And I have to say, like, it keeps building. It keeps getting more and more interesting. And I love the fact that I'm kind of a curator. That's how I see myself. I've always been someone, I worked in the fashion industry before and I would be.
So what were you doing in the fashion industry?
I was the fashion director at Glamour magazine for about 14 and a half years. I started at Vogue as an assistant accessories editor, and then I kind of worked my way up. And by the time that I got to Glamour, I mostly did makeovers, front of the book, photo shoots, covered New York, Paris, and Milan during Fashion Week. And It was really fun. I had a great job, but
So you had like the dream come true job for like a lot of girls, a lot of and men, a lot of ladies and gentlemen would like
yes,
really envy that. And you left a really prolific career, and your dad was like an executive at Macy's. You're like, in some ways, you're kind of like fashion royalty, you know? You were, in your own right, definitely like building like your own sort of like brand as like a fashion voice and mogul. But then there was like that transition, which I think is so interesting, where and first of all, there are no accidents, right? So you've made the most chic meditation brand. You've made you're always like coaching, and you also have essentially like a meditation teacher agency. So how did that happen? How did like a fashion director at Glamour and Vogue become like a huge popularizer of meditation?
You know what happened? Stress happened. I was really stressed out. And my mother-in-law's like, you have to breathe. And I was moving at like 200 miles per hour. And I said, what's that? And she's a psychotherapist, and she taught me a little practice that was basically me closing my eyes, imagining myself in Jamaica, slowing down my breath. And in 3 minutes, I felt like a different human being. It changed my life. And afterwards, she said, it's meditation. You really should learn how to do that. So when I went back to LA, I was searching for places to meditate, and it wasn't easy. They were long classes, $1,400 TM and Vedic sessions. And I'm like, well, where's like the New Yorker version where I can kind of go in, leave in 30 minutes and feel great, like dry bar? And I realized, oh my gosh, it didn't exist. It's a great business idea. So I said to my husband, I should quit fashion. I should open up this meditation studio. And he's like, you should learn how to meditate first. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm really going to do this. So then I started studying with the best teachers in the world. And I realized like, I only wanted to learn from the best, obviously from my career in the past. I'm like, even that meant taking Deepak Chopra's 21-day meditation series, meeting David G, learning privately from Steve Ross. Like I really kind of sought all these different people that were like kind of the names of meditation. Susan Kaiser Greenland, Malika Chopra, everybody. And I started meeting all these people. I'm like, will you work at Unplug if I open up the studio? And they're all like, yeah, no problem. So I'm like, I'm doing this. And I just kind of jumped in with my feet first. And then fashion stopped being interesting to me because meditation is a lot like fashion. It's always new. There's top talent. You're learning something interesting. It's kind of like mind blowing. You know this. I mean, my mind is blown all the time.
Totally.
You blow my mind, Ben.
You blow my mind. Okay, and so then check it out. You've also got the Unplug guided meditation app, which we mentioned earlier. But so we open the studio, we have the live classes, and there's also the app. And what I think is really cool about the app is that you produce all of your own content on there. So like you said, you're a curator. So you curate all of the content. There's a lot of meditations on YouTube and things like that, that are kind of hit or miss. And to be, as an aside, that's part of why I started teaching meditation. My parents taught me to meditate when I was really little. I was meditating and it was a big part of my life. But I started to teach because I didn't like the guided meditations I could find. That's why I started to teach. Yeah.
And I think it's really important for people to know who's going inside of their head. And I think there are a lot of meditation apps, videos, etc., audios out there, and you don't know who these people are. So I think it's important not only to just hear the voice in your head, but to be able to actually look into the eyes, which is why we did this in video. So you feel this personal connection with the teacher. So like, for instance, Ben, when you're guiding me on the Unplug app, I really feel like I'm hanging one-on-one with you because you're looking directly into the camera. You're looking directly into my eyes. You're speaking in a way where you're really connecting with the person, and you're speaking in a way that's very simple, modern, easy, and relevant. And you make it fun. And that's what I love about our teachers is they really make it fun and interesting. And I love how you've become really good friends with all of these teachers that teach at our studio. It's not like the kind of place where people are competitive. it's the kind of place where people are forming these amazing alliances.
Yes, it's
And I've seen
collaborative.
you've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's something that really resonates a lot with me is that I have taught at a lot of different places. I've taught at a lot of different studios that have their own approach, and I've taught in religious context as well, and at my own spiritual center, and where we had lots of other teachers and bringing them in, and I have found that it's really hard. Um, to be a meditation teacher as a career, because anytime you enter into a career, there is competition, and the ego does come up, and insecurity comes up, and I'm not good enough, and the whole reason I came into this is so I wouldn't have to feel that way anymore.
Right.
You know, but I do feel like at Unplug, there was like this quality amongst the teachers, especially. I think I'm friends with all of them. I feel like I love all of them. I feel really supported by all of them, you know? I feel like they, even the ones who have their own books to sell and promote, I feel like we can look at each other's content and say, oh, that's what Megan's really good at. Oh, that's Megan's thing. Oh, that's what he's really good at. That's what she's really good at. And we can really tune into everyone's uniqueness. And I think that you really foster that not just in like the business itself, but also in the entire culture that you create around Unplug. So like with the app, with the studio, with like the teacher meetings, which we have one tomorrow.
Yes, we do. And every time we do those teacher meetings, we all elevate each other. So I love that. I actually chose each teacher myself because they're the kind of people that I wanted to learn from. And what I love is like our holiday parties, because I knew all of you guys would fall in love with each other, and the teacher meetings, and people just like love each other there, and they help each other. And we're all, even the sound healers, where it's very hard to teach sound healing on Zoom, but they've all been really supportive of each other and trying to help each other elevate their sound on Zoom. And I like being a part of that. That's the kind of crowd I wanted. And I worked in an industry where people weren't as supportive, where people were like, you know, cutthroat, dog eat dog, you know, you're in,
I
you're
sometimes
out.
do feel that way in the larger meditation industry. So I just want to say, like, as a professional in this industry, the industry itself is not exactly collaborative. When I was in college, I was studying collaborative religion, and I was really interested in all the different religions and the things that they had in common. And I didn't even like comparative religion. So I started to call it collaborative religious studies, because I wanted to see where everyone agreed. Where does everyone agree, you know? And so that's the similar kind of quality that I find in the culture that you create, and in what I experience with the other Unplugged teachers especially, is that it's collaborative. That when we come together, it's like, oh, you know what really worked for me? I felt like when my first book was coming out, I felt like I could come to you with questions about my book deal. And in a lot of ways, our content is formally would be really competitive, because you're the author of Unplug, A Simple Guide to Meditation, and I'm the author of Practical Meditation for Beginners, A Simple Guide to Meditation, you know?
Right.
So officially it's competitive, but I never felt that from you. I felt nothing but support from you on it, you know? And I think that's one of the things, when you're the creator, the founder of something, you're like the lightning rod for the energy that maintains in your orbit, you know? So like, major kudos to you for keeping that collaborative atmosphere.
Well, I want all my teachers to write books, because I believe, and I chose all of you because you're stars. And in my eyes, you're like celebrities. And you saw that one email that Lisa Hall sent, and she was kind of like, you know, Ben is a star. And it's like, I would pay $500 for a single session with him. Did you see that email? Was that amazing? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, these people are stars, and you have great access to them. So for me, the more I can share you with the world, the better I feel about the product that I've created. Like, I'm picking the best. So I feel really lucky that people like you agree to teach it Unplugged. That's what makes Unplugged so incredible. It's not the fact that it looks really chic, though it does. It's not the fact that it's well designed, and it is. It's the fact that we work with the top talent in this field, in the world.
Right.
And that is what makes it so unique.
Right. I think that's like that's the quality. You're almost like a meditation sommelier. You're like a connoisseur, you know, you have this, you're a tastemaker really is what you are,
Mhm.
you know. And I love it because we're all different, you know.
Mhm.
And I never tried to create an unplug, but I did have my own spiritual center, and it was like a religiously pluralistic spiritual center.
I know. I wish I had a chance to go to that. The one in Venice that was in the church.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sad that I missed that.
Well, it was a really cool experience,
Uh-huh.
and but I will say that your decision to approach Unplug the way that you have, and I think it's innate to you. You know, I think it's like it's part of your personality,
Mhm.
being like, no religion, no religion talk at all. That decision, as much as you know, it's not the decision I made when I opened a place.
Right.
That creates such a safe zone where it does feel like we can be all of our different traditions
Right.
without having it need to come up in a way that bristles. You know,
Right. Right.
no one has a problem with the fact that I'm Christian. You know,
Mhm.
and also in the Christian community, a lot of times people are like, you're like not a regular Christian. You're like a weird new agey Christian. It's like I'm not
Right.
Christian enough or something. Um,
Uh-huh.
but what I found is that there's like a really welcoming energy around everyone's uniqueness.
Mhm.
You know, and so whereas what I was trying to do, I was trying to definitely bring in like the Vedic teachers and the Buddhist teachers and really have them teach traditional content under one roof. And that was like a boxing match. It was like regularly drama. It was like
Right.
constant drama, you know?
I
Um,
did the exact opposite, where I basically took all the top teachers from Vedic, guided imagery, tapping, hypnotherapy, and I stripped them of their lessons and I basically simplified it. I'm like, okay, don't say this, don't do this. We want to make it accessible to everyone. And you're right, it's so funny because it's hard because a lot of the teachers sometimes want to beam people out into the universe. And I'm like, cut, no God, cut, no universe, God. You know, like I have to
yeah,
kind of edit out certain words that could be trigger words for other people.
right.
And not everybody knows what a chakra is. Not everybody knows what the third eye is. So I have to say, okay, if you're
Hmm.
going to use that terminology or Sanskrit, then you need to back it up with the layman's terms. You need to
Right.
simplify. So I would say Unplug is like the minimalistic version of all of these practices where we use words that appeal to everyone, but they're really powerful.
Hmm.
And I would say we're like what's the word? Travel agents.
Right.
We
Hmm.
guide you to your own destination.
Right.
And you can have like, sometimes you've had like 70 people or 80 people in a class, and basically they all have a powerful aha moment that they were all different, but
Hmm.
you know the words that can relate to every single person. And that's what's so powerful, I think.
Right. It's like speaking different languages,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that there's of course a value in like that gap bridging between the different lineages to today, where in some contexts it's really helpful, especially in like the more advanced classes or the more niche classes. You can go a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
oops, sorry. You can go a little bit more technical
That's okay.
with terms and stuff. But what's coming up?
Oh, I'm seeing I'm seeing some fun questions here. Someone
Oh
said they've
yeah.
been playing with Lemurian crystals. That's so weird. I was just talking about crystals,
Well, yeah, exactly.
Lemurians today.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like Egyptian Lemurian crystals might be so triggering for somebody. you know,
Really?
and but I think there's another quality that I think that you've done that's really good, and it's speaking the language. It's helping everyone speak. It's not quite clinical, but it's a little bit more of a scientific, clinical language. That I think is why we get so many referrals from therapists and medical doctors to unplug.
Right. Yeah, we have a lot. In fact, we're now in Kaiser Permanente. So we've been going into Kaiser, and it's a very hard place to go because they are really strict about their rules. And we keep it just really secular, really simple, so that the doctors can relate to it, the patients can relate to it, and everyone in between.
Yeah, and I think that that's really cool because these practices are ancient. You know, they've been here forever, and they're inherent. They're inherent. They're natural. It's not magic. It's really just, even though we sometimes like to use that word, the magic of meditation or the miracle of meditation.
Right.
The magic of it is that it's not magic. The magic of it is that it's totally real and it's completely effective and scientific. You know. And so you've done a really, really good job with that. And so from a mental health perspective, I've seen, just from my experience, in the last 5 years, Unplug's been open for 6 years almost? Six
Yep.
years.
Wow.
So in the last like 5.5 years that I've been there, I think you were open for like less than a year when I like walked up. I had a lunch appointment.
In your suit.
Yeah, in a suit. I had a lunch appointment, a lunch meeting, like I think it was like at a magazine, actually, like right across the street at like one of the corporate office buildings right over there. And they canceled last minute and I was already there. And so I just like went for a little walk on Wilshire. Who goes on a walk on Wilshire? Nobody, you know. But I just went on a little walk and I saw Unplug Meditation. I was like, what is that? Whoa. And I went in and I will never forget this.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just like you saw it on the street and walked in?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I just randomly walked in. I was standing there and I was like, whoa, is this place open? And I walked in and you were, I'll never forget, you were like in this really nice blouse. And I was like, ooh, who is this hot chick in here? This like meditation chick. And you were talking to a man in there and he was like, so what's the deal? I don't really get it. And I want to know if you remember this. You were like, well, I sometimes like to think about it like a Starbucks meditation. I'm in line at Starbucks. I'm breathing. I'm present with my breath while I'm in line. I get to the barista. I look the cashier in the eye when I place my order. And then when I get my drink, I smell my drink. I take a small sip of it. I feel the temperature of it in my hands. And I was like, this woman understands mindfulness. That's what my first thought about you was. It was really like,
so funny.
Wow, she actually really understands mindfulness, you know? And we started talking and I immediately felt like I got you and like I understood you and that I had like a connection. And, but yeah, it's been 5.5 years since that happened. And some of the students have been in almost every one of my classes. Some of them are so dedicated and so present. And they've completely changed their lives.
Yes. Well, I think also, and you were talking about mental health, I think it's really, look, obviously some people have issues and it's hard to solve these issues without medication. But if you can, meditation really does help and it is very powerful and it can be very effective. And we have a choice every single morning when we wake up. We have a choice whether we want to be present, whether we want to embrace good things like, you know, meditation, healthy food, positive imagery versus like the news, which can be really negative, or reading our email first thing in the morning and seeing all the things we have to do. If I make the choice to be more in alignment with myself, which is meditation first thing in the morning, I'm more likely to have a positive day than if I choose looking at the news or my email. So I think when it comes to mental health, you really need to think about what are your triggers? What activates you? Who activates you? And really kind of almost editing your own brain and your own thoughts. So like if you notice there's a person who just triggers you and you can edit them out. You don't need, it's like shoes. Just because we feel sorry for them doesn't mean we need to keep them on our shelf.
Right.
We can take a photograph of them and we can donate them. And sometimes people are not healthy for us. And the same thing goes where we can just kind of say thank you for all that you've done, but no thank you, I choose not to engage. Just like your thoughts. We tell ourselves negative self-talk sometimes. And we have that choice, whether we want to do that or come back to our breath.
Right.
And I love what Johnny O'Callahan says. He has this great quote where he says, just you don't need to have a cup of tea with every thought that you have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Zen saying that says, have your front door and your back door open, let your thoughts come and go, don't invite them all to stay for tea.
Oh, I didn't realize it was from that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
great.
And that's one of my favorite ones too. It sounds like he has his own like kind of like way of saying it.
The Irish twist on it.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
So he always
Totally.
has that.
Don't have a pint of beer with every, no, just kidding.
You don't need to have a Guinness with every
Yeah.
thought that comes into your head. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Well, I'm totally love what you're doing, and I love your approach to it. And I think it's really fun to even see how I know look, we have neuroplasticity, we have habitual thought patterns, we have stagnant ways of doing things. Meditation softens those neural pathways, opens us up to doing things in new ways. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you meditate, and I can tell that you're a meditator. And partially because, not only because you're always coming up with the new things, and I know that you require a direct experience with it. So I know that you're doing like R&D like at all times, but also I've seen how you have adapted over the years, how you work with things, you adapt and you change. And it's not that you really necessarily change, it's that I think that I remember the first event I ever did at Unplug was a sound bath. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you remember that. The first thing I ever did there was a sound bath. And I think it may have been the first sound bath that you had there because you were very resistant to it. You did not like the idea that you didn't want to do it. You had been to a sound bath and there was like stuff about it that was not going to fly at Unplug. And I was like, okay, we'll do it without any of those things. And it was a little while before I saw another one on the schedule. But I think that what that means to me is that you really do have like that flexibility mentally, and you are willing to see things differently and make it work. Right. And when you were saying that you were taking things away,
yes,
like all these teachers from different traditions, and we're all highly unique. And sometimes in the meditation world, I'm like, whoa, I'm from such a different lineage than some of these people. We're so different, but we come together in a place where we're actually not that different,
Right.
And I think that is like a detox. You're like a detoxer. And it's not that they're toxins exactly, but it is a distillation and a purification, which sounds to me like a translation for a global audience.
Well, what I like about all the teachers is they all have big personalities. So when you're sitting and that's the difference between a great teacher and a not so great teacher. Sorry, we've got a helicopter happening, but we work with that, right?
Yep.
So we're great.
It's all part of the experience, right?
So a great teacher is not only someone who knows their stuff, but a great teacher knows how to engage with the audience, knows how to speak to them in their own language, and has a personality that makes you want more, and says things that are really powerful. And that's the one common thread between all of our teachers is that at Unplug is that they all have great personalities, whether they're police officers like Officer Palladini on the app, or you who I'm not sure how much everybody knows about you, but there's a lot of interesting things about you, your upbringing and your life. Karma, who makes the most amazing chocolates in the entire world. Thank you. Don't send me any more of those, by the way.
Hey, I sent you the healthy ones.
Okay, well, I don't think they're healthy when you eat all of them by yourself. Anyway, you could thank her for me. But yeah, that's a thing. We want to make it meditation so interesting that people will actually want to meditate, because sometimes it can be really long, it can be really strict, it can be really boring, and then you're out.
Right.
You're over it.
Right.
So what we do, we make it like great, like it's just fun.
Right.
And
it's like a spa service almost. Like a lot of people will say it feels like a spa. Like it feels like I just went to a spa. I feel like I just got a massage, or a facial or something.
Massage.
Yeah, a brain massage. Yeah, or like sometimes it's a heart massage. Sometimes you just feel like we all experience grief. We all have to navigate mental health. We all have to cultivate mental wellness, just like we have to cultivate health. We can't just wait until we're sick to deal with sickness, we have to cultivate health. We can't just wait until things get so stressful and so crazy that we have a nervous breakdown. We have to cultivate mental wellness proactively. And so I think that's one thing that you've done really nicely, is that you've made meditation feel more like a spa experience, like a good, yummy thing that we just want to totally do.
Good.
And there is like the exercise component of it, where you can really become a great meditator, and you can dive deep, and you can do those challenging things to cut through to the deeper core stuff. But that's like by choice. That's like after you really choose that. There's so much that feels more like almost like dessert. Like you go into Heather Hayward's class, and it's just like, it's like dessert, you know?
She's amazing. Well, I have to just say that for mental health, I think it's really important that we make it a priority, because what happens is when we're so busy helping everyone else around us, and when we're so busy doing, we ignore who we are. And it's really important to even take 60 seconds every day just to wake up and be like, what am I grateful for? Just change the station. And the easiest way to do that is just to start with gratitude. And I always say, people are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. Just close your eyes. Think of 3 things you feel grateful for. Think of 1 thing that makes you happy. Slow down your breath, and then set an intention for how not the to-do list. Right. I want to be calm. I want to be positive. I want to send out a positive ripple in the world. And then from there, go for it. And that's, if everybody started their day like that, they would be more likely to have a good day.
Oh, and yeah, so definitely.
I hope that, and if anybody gets anything from this, and I know this is beautiful what you're doing, sharing mental health and mental wellness with your whole audience, which is amazing that you're doing that, Ben. Is it every day this month?
Every day in the month of May.
That's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
I like that that's really smart. But I'm glad that you invited me to be on your show, and I'm excited that I get to share my 1 tip and hack, and I love having you as part of the Unplug family. I just feel really lucky to know you, Ben.
Well, I'm so grateful for you. You're the best. You're like you're to get woo woo and hyper spiritual and not unplugged for 1 second. You're like a total reincarnated sage. You're totally, yeah, you are definitely setting a positive ripple out in the world. You're facilitating the conditions for people to really feel safe meditating and feel comfortable meditating. And I think that that's ultimately what all of these different ancient traditions were trying to do, is help people facilitate the conditions for the natural healing process to take place within them. And hey, what better thing can we do to honor our ancestors than to stand on their shoulders in all the ways they got it right, and to let go of the things that might be causing discomfort for some people, and that might not be working in every possible way. So you're nailing it.
I'm so inspired by this situation that you're doing this, Ben. Like, I'm so inspired. We have so many people are writing questions.
I know. Sorry, guys. I'm just like, okay, so it's important for people to know who's going to their head. So true. And you can trust Suze. I love the app. Highly recommend. I also have the Unplugged book. Great app.
Thank you.
The fact that Suze promotes a collaborative culture says a lot. It's a leadership that trickles down. So true. Can testify to that. Yeah, I'm a Suze believer. I love Benjamin and Suze. Aww. When I travel to LA, I always make a point of going to Unplug. It's all about love, and nobody likes big shot meditation. You lose the most important aspect, which is connection. Yeah, so true. I think that you've curated teachers who really cultivate connection. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. We got some Egyptian Lemurian crystals.
Like that one.
Let's see. I remind my friends, smell your flowers, take a minute to slow down. Yeah, exactly. Get really present. Oh, wow. So much good stuff in here. That Unplugged New Year party must have been amazing with all of you. Yeah, that was amazing. Unplugged parties are the best. I remember your book launch party was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and there are obviously like a lot of different physiological effects that meditation has. We know that it increases the white blood cell count. There's all different kinds of changes to the brain that help that help us become more conscious and in control over the way we respond to different situations.
I like to tell people too, Ben, on the on unplug.com, at the bottom of the website, there's a kind of what is meditation or the science of meditation. Click that because there's a TED Talk on there by Sarah Lazar, who's a Harvard neuroscientist. I know you know who she is, but for those of you who don't, she did this amazing study of people who had never meditated before. And she showed the before and after MRIs of their brain after they meditated for 8 weeks. And you could see how memory, focus, executive decision-making, and compassion actually grew. And stress and anxiety actually shrunk. So this stuff works. It's scientifically proven. And there's so much more. There's so much more. So if you do have the time, I always say, if you can breathe, you can meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Please come on the Unplug app and check out Ben Decker. He is the meditation of the day today. And you can't go wrong. Just click that one.
Yeah. And for me, so I just finished my 4th book, and the people are like,
the Christ one?
That's the 2nd one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited about the one you were telling me with all of the mantras in Latin.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. That one comes out.
When are we doing that book party?
Oops. In August, the 2nd week of August. You are
so
going to
we're
love
either going
that
to do
one.
it physically or virtually. We could do both.
I'm going to do both probably. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because now we're all like used to the Zoom thing, so it's like part of our reality now.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing, and I want to thank you for your contributions to mental health. This is going to go up on YouTube and as a podcast, so anyone who wants to watch it over again, they'll be able to have access to it. Definitely check out Unplug Meditation, the guided meditation app. Definitely check out the Unplug Meditation Mind Body Schedule app and see all the different classes that are available for Unplug Live. I teach 3 times a week. Love those classes.
Love it.
And follow Suze. She's really, really cool, and she's really great, and she comes up with lots of good tips. And yeah, so thank you guys so much, and thank you, Suze.
Thank you, Ben.
You're the best. I can't wait to give you a hug in person.
Let's do that soon.
Definitely. All right, I'll see you. Thank you, Suze. You're the best.
Bye.
I love
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks everybody.
Friends.
Thanks
Okay,
everybody.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.